We all know we need to replace consumable parts like chains, cassettes and brake pads, but today I'm going to share with you some things that, despite their much longer lifespan, also need to be replaced to ensure that you're getting the most out of your time on the bike. First up are your pedals. While everyone knows that you need to replace your cleats, the endless unclipping and clipping back in does also slowly wear down your pedal bodies, especially those that are made of composite rather than metal. If you don't believe me, then compare your pedals to some new ones and you will see the difference. Granted, this only works if you've been using your pedals for at least a few years with regular use. Now, some pedals can be serviced, which can aid the strength of retention, but on others, where you can't, the retention will slowly get worse. There is an argument to say that this is the hallmark of a worn-in pedal, and ones which will be easier to get in and out of. However, where possible, the ease of exit and entry should be controlled by either the preload spring or the stiffness of the carbon blades you're running if you're on a look-bladed system. Having excess drift and float in your pedals might not be quite right for your bike fit and may mean that your knees are operating at an angle which may not be quite right for you. So it's certainly one to take a look at. There's a sound that we are all too familiar with, and that is the sound of a chain rubbing on the inside of your front derailleur. Now, as frustrating as this is, what's even more annoying is how that rubbing can actually be wearing away at a part which is designed to ensure your shifts are nice and smooth. Meaning, as time passes and that rubbing continues, your shifts may get worse and worse. So, take a close look at your derailleur and specifically at this piece of plastic, which in many cases will be pushed into the side of the cage. Happily, this can be replaced. Just look up your front mech online and in many cases, you'll be able to find the exact part number which your local bike shop can go ahead and pop on order for you. Simply push the old one out and put the new one in. Once done, make sure your gears are indexed to stop the rubbing and hopefully those front mech shifts will be all the better for it. Believe it or not, but saddles are a wearable component. Of course, they'll last much longer than a set of brake pads, but with all that riding and all that weight going through it for hours on end, over time, it will take its toll and ultimately, it will affect the amount of support your saddle is providing. Gel and foam breaks down, and what used to give you support in the right place will now not, because the support structure itself will have been compromised. We also can't ignore that when new, some saddles come with a matte or grippy surface, and again, over time, this previously tactile surface ends up being polished, resulting you sliding around on your saddle that little bit more. So if you feel like your saddle just isn't performing like it used to, then it might be time for a replacement. Saddles are of course very important for comfort on the bike, but bib shorts arguably play a bigger role in the comfort equation. Again, over all of those hours spent in the saddle, the chamois itself will begin to break down and not be as plush. You can help extend the life of your chamois by washing it at 30 degrees C and only using non-bio detergent. But again, ultimately, when the weight of a human is going through a piece of foam, there is only so long that these things can perform at their best. So if you're experiencing saddle discomfort, try a new set of bib shorts. It might be a much simpler fix than a new saddle. In a similar vein, thanks to all of the watts that you'll no doubt be churning out, the thin bit of material between your foot and the sole of your shoe essentially turns into a wattage sandwich and over time gets squished down. Arch supports are crucially important to ensuring your knee is kept in the right position throughout the entirety of the pedal stroke. And it's important that you have the right arch support for you. So, while some are more robust than others, it's good to check if your insoles are still actually providing you with the right amount of support, because if they're not, your knees will be taking the punishment.